Hello, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing kind of more of a tip video, like talk about stuff about diamond painting. So I figured this one I'm going to talk about multi-placers, and I'm also going to multi-place something. So there might be like a tiny whip at the end. I'm not sure how much chatting I'll do, but there'll be a whip. So when I first started diamond painting, I actually single placed everything for, I think, probably the first 20 diamond paintings I did. After that, I guess I got braver and I tried to do the multi-placing. So in a lot of kits, well, some kits, not all of them, do come with multi-placers, and most of the ones that come with multi-placers will come with like this kind here. This is probably you see the most in most diamond paintings that have multi-placers. So this is a 3-placer, and I don't know if this is a 6-placer or a 5-placer, and then sometimes it comes with this even longer one here. I didn't really use these that much, mainly because the hole in here is actually pretty big, and sometimes, especially for squares, you can get the drill stuck in there. So I probably only use these only a handful of times. So, and then there's these white multi-placers. These ones I used for a very long time until the metal multi-placers started to become cheaper. So most of the time you're gonna get like, so this was like a multi-pack that I don't even remember where I got it. Most of the time I think these come with the 4-placer, and is it a 7-placer? I think, or a 6-placer. And then usually there's like a 10-placer, maybe. But yeah, most of the time I think these came with a 4-placer and maybe a 6-placer. And I do not use the longer placers. I am a short multi-placer placer, if that makes sense. I feel like I do just get a little bit more control doing a shorter multi-placer than a longer one. So the one good thing about these ones, which I use these a lot prior to the metal multi-placers, is I'm not sure if you can tell, but the hole in this one is much narrower than this one here, so you don't have that problem with the drills getting stuck in there. So that's why I never really use these. Once I had these ones, you don't end up using these, at least for me. So so this one is I used a very long time, and I was a 4-placer. I think, like I said, they came with the 6-placer, the 4 and the 6-placer. This is like some special set that you don't normally get. If I could remember where I got this, I got it in a PR package. I just can't remember which one. And I don't know if it's available anymore, but it was like, it had like every single multi-placer. It had like, here's a 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I think it even goes up to, what number is this? This is a 14-placer. This is a 15-placer. I think this is the biggest one. Man, that's a really big placer. So the problem with these ones is I have a used one right here, is they do start wearing out. I'm not sure if you could tell. They do start wearing out, and you can and then since they do start getting worn out, the drills start kind of hitting it weirdly. I don't know if that's the right word. So you can extend it a little bit by getting a nail file, like remove your wax and stuff. Get a nail file and file it so that it's flat, and then it'll be nice and flat again. But you could only do that so many times before there's just not enough plastic left to hold the wax. So yeah, these ones I really like. If this is all you have, these white ones, I recommend trying these out. And I actually recommend don't go too big. I don't know. I've been diamond painting for a long time, and I would never do this 15-placer. I probably wouldn't even do the 10-placer if I could find a 10-placer. I wouldn't do the 10-placer. I think this might be the 10-placer. So So yeah, I had used the 4-placer for a very long time. And then these metal multiplacers started becoming cheaper. Because when I first started diamond painting, there was like one store like in Australia that sold these multiplacers for like $30 each, and so I never went and got it. I just stuck with these ones. And then now these metal multiplacers, you don't need more than one of these unless you have multiple pens and don't want to move the tips. These things last a long time. I have yet to break one. I have broken a pen, but I didn't break the multiplacer. So they've been coming in multiple colors. Like I think this is the rose gold one or the gold one, and then I think there's like some weird colors, but all I have is just these colors here. So for these ones, I think they come at the biggest as a 10 placer, and then they come with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up to 10. They are about the same as these ones here. So the width is about the same, and I really like these. The only bad thing about these, though, is they are much heavier than these. This is like really light, and this is a piece of metal, so it's pretty heavy. So it does take a little bit of a getting used to using the metal multiplacers. So now that I'm talking multiplacers, I am not a pen person, so this is my set pens that I just use pretty much all the time. I don't tend to switch off or anything. This is my pens. So I use this pen here. It has a 2-placer and a 3-placer, and this is what I use when I do my specials, because, you know, they tend to have the big ones, and you tend not to be able to multiplace much with the specials because they are not lined up in grids. So this is my specials pen with my 2 and my 3-placer. This, I only pretty much just use it for the straightener, so I just have the straightener here, and if I need to, I will straighten something. I don't ever really use this side of the pen, so I just use this as my straightener. This here is my 7-placer. This is the biggest I usually go to. I only take this out when I'm going to do massive color blocked sections. And it has to be massive color block sections because I don't normally use the 7-placer. And yeah, like I said, this is the biggest I'll go, mainly because at some point, the bigger the placer is, the heavier your pen is. So you kind of have to balance out what you're willing to lift. And plus for my brain, these just are too big. I don't diamond paint well with it. So 7-placer, I only take this out when I have a massive color block section. Otherwise, I just have my 2 pens here. They both have 5-placers on them, and one just has a straight tip and one has this angled tip. I use the angled tip for my round drills because it just lets me rest my wrist a different way. So then, I don't know. It just lets me rest my wrist in a different way. Unfortunately, I could not get a hang of this tip with my square drills because squares have an orientation while rounds don't. Because there's sides on squares while there's no sides on rounds. So I use just the straight tip for my squares. But otherwise, 5-placer. That's all I use. 5 placers. And it just makes more sense for me visually. I could count 5 really easily, much better than I could count any other one. I don't know. Maybe it's because, you know, we're used to counting 5 fingers. And probably if I wanted to, I'd probably be able to do the 10. I don't know. Would I be able to count 10? I could just count 5 really quickly. So that's probably why I chose the 5. If I was still going back, I would still probably use the 4-placer because the 5-placer wasn't really a thing. Because the 4-placer is the one that came with diamond paintings, and then all these extra number placers weren't really a thing. But once the 5-placer came out, it just worked with my brain better. So just do what works for you. So, diamond painting. I was going to do this one here. I just have this one more section here, and this one section, if you zoom in here, this is pretty much like all color blocked practically here. See, it's an all practically color block section here. I'm not a big fan of these red dots, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, like I said, I pretty much just use my 5-placer. I think it's a little zoomed too much. I pretty much just use my 5-placer. And I'm just going to use just a regular MOSFET tray here. Just in case you think you need to buy the expensive trays to multi-place, you don't. Because I have some really big trays, and yes, I normally do use them. I put in a little too much in there. I normally do use them for something like this with the large amount of multi-placing I have to do. And then I usually also just get some. This is just leftover double-sided adhesive paper here, or you could also get like those release papers. I have yet to buy release paper because I have done many double-sided adhesive ones. So you can see like 5 just works out for me because I can see it easily, and I could just see it easily, and I can pick them up really easily without having any real issues. And then I don't need such a massive tray either. And I could easily see 4 at a time or something. So how I multi-place is I like to have, if it's the first line, I will be very careful. But if I already have a diamond painted edge, I kind of use the edge to help line it up. So, especially with something that is poured glue, it is a little bit more slippery, so I just use the edge of the other drills to help put it into place. And then if there is no edge, then I just am a little bit more careful about how I place it. And I'm an up and down placer. You can also place this direction, which I'm not as good at with, but I would say do what's more comfortable for you. Do what's more comfortable for you. And you could also just use this, you could do 5 at a time, like I'm doing, and then this next one, I could just pick up 4. And that's why I said the 5 works for my brain. I can see 4, and I can see 5, I can see 3. Once you start getting higher, I don't know if I would be able to recognize or count it as quickly as with the bigger multi-placers. So yeah, I just do the side here. I just do up and down. Up and down, I just do it much better. And I've seen techniques where folks do like they start with one side and then go down. I'm more of a plunk all at once kind of person, but that's probably because I'm doing only the 5-placer. I think if I were to do a bigger placer, let's take out my 7-placer. I don't really like the 7-placer. See, it's so much longer that you might have to do the plunk one side and put it down, but I'm more of a just straight. I'm actually more of like a side plunker. I don't know if that's the right way of saying it. Like, see, I have such a harder time with the bigger ones. I'm gonna switch tray since I actually have a good amount of multi-placing to do on this one. So yeah, so this part here, I only have 3, so I could just pick up 3 here. And yeah, I just find it's actually faster for me to do the smaller multi-placer than for me to do the bigger multi-placer. Unless it's like a massive color blocked section. So now you're thinking, okay, my drills aren't straight. You could always get one of these straighteners and kind of straighten it out, especially if you notice that it's a little bit not straight. And that's why I really like the metal the metal straightener. It's stronger. There are plastic straighteners also. You could also use like this thing here, but I don't really like it to do this here. But yeah, and then just straighten it as you need. Now, this diamond painting actually has, I think, relatively little gapping. So it makes your multi-placing look much nicer. If there is gapping, and you could still get gapping in round drills, you'll see it. You'll see the gapping, and it'll look like you're not multi-placing well. So what some folks do in the more gappy diamond paintings is to like checkerboard the multi-placing. So like do something like this, where they alternate. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I need to turn off my extra light here so that it's not so. Yeah, they do this alternating multi-placing here. So checkerboarding is actually a common technique for single placing too, but you can do it with the multi-placer. So if you do notice there is a little bit more gapping in your diamond painting, you can do this. Now, it works a little bit better the smaller your multi-placer is. The bigger multi-placers probably would not do well in this. So it helps it just be a little bit more spread out. I don't diamond paint this way. I'm just showing you another way. But yeah, I don't normally diamond paint that way. I don't usually find it necessary. Usually if there is a little bit of gapping, I'll just kind of use the straightener tool to kind of hide any of the gaps, if that makes sense, instead of doing it this way, because that other way you do have to place the ones that, like, before you start filling it in, you do have to be more careful in the placement. I always found that just putting it if there is a side, it's just easier just to use one of the sides to help guide putting it on, like that, like just the sides. And then I try not to do all of them. I don't know if it makes sense. I try to stagger my placers so that I'm not always putting the same 5 in the same row. I don't know if that makes sense. Like instead of like having it like, I guess if you do this and then you just constantly have the 5 here. I messed up that one. If you just constantly have the multi-placing end at the same place, you might see the line between where it ended. So I try not to do that by staggering where my start and end of my multi-placing is, so that at least it doesn't look too like it, because you will see the gaps. If there is gapping on the diamond painting, you will see the gaps if you diamond paint that way. Does that make sense? I don't know. So yeah. Yeah, see, it doesn't look as nice when I'm trying to like show. And I think you will notice more gapping when the drills and the diamond painting do not match each other in size. So you will notice a lot more gapping, and it'll be much more difficult to multi-place when there is gapping. So if you think that you're a bad multi-placer, it might not be you. It might be just the canvas and drill combination. The drills and the canvas do not match in size, and it's just so much harder to multi-place. So yeah. There. So what did I showed you? I'm like, okay, what more can I show? So I do like to keep my tray in the same orientation that I'm multi-placing. So since I am multi-placing up and down, my tray is up and down. So since I'm multi-placing up and down, I keep my tray up and down, so I don't have to do, like if I was doing this, and then I don't have to turn my pen. Now if I was going to do left and right, yeah, see, I told you I'm bad at the left and right kind of multi-placing. I got so used to doing the up and down, and I'm much better at it. Probably because I can see, and I also like multi-placing this direction because I think because my hand is here, my focus is in this direction, I can see where I'm diamond painting when it's this way. And then I'm usually a little bit more careful when I don't have a side to diamond paint next to, but it is much easier once one side is filled. And if you don't care how nicely your drills are placed, I kind of care a little bit. You can see where it's not as nice when it's when it's a white color. The lighter colors, it's much more noticeable how bad or good you place your drills. I feel like I'm relatively okay in my drill placement. I'm not a perfectionist, but I also like it when it's a little bit neater. So I don't go too crazy about my drill placement, but I also care a little bit. Does that make sense? I care, but I don't care too much. So but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what else to say. Like I still say that I've been diamond painting a long time, and I don't do the big multi-placers. I know a lot of people do the bigger ones. I just never got comfortable with it, and I thought that I just have a little bit more control with my 5-placer, and I could count 5 drills really quickly. like visually. But that's just me. I feel like when I see 5 drills, I can see it really easily. Anything more than that, I don't see it that easily for whatever reason. So maybe, yeah. And I don't, and while I could probably save a little bit of time with the bigger multi-placers, actually, I don't know. I don't not normally diamond paint things that have this much color blocking. I actually start finding it a little bit boring if there's too much color blocking. So that's probably why I stick to the 5 placer, because the bigger placers, what ends up happening to me sometimes is I'm not like a hard presser. So the problem with the bigger placers is, like, let's say you only wanted to do like 3 here, and then there was already a drill placed there. You might end up picking up the drill up there. I've done it. I end up picking up the other drill that's already placed if it wasn't completely like plunked down. So yeah, multi-placing. I'm not sure what else to say. I would say that if you are gonna try it out, start with the smaller ones and then build yourself up. And then you'll just know the more you use it, which size you prefer. For me, the 5 placer is my ideal size because I can count 5 really easily, and it's not too big that I lose control, and it's not, and since it's also not too big, it's not too heavy. That's my main problem with these multi-placers, especially once they started doing the metal multi-placers, is the bigger it is, the heavier it will be. So you need to balance what you are comfortable doing. And like I said, I'm not obsessed with perfect placing. I just kind of want it to look a little bit as neat enough. I just want it to look neat enough. So yeah, should I just continue multi-placing? Because you know what? I've had this diamond painting up to this section for like 3 weeks, and I hadn't touched it. And then I was like, you know what? I think if I start talking about multi-placing, I can do a good chunk of this diamond painting, since it is pretty much just all multi-placing, this section at least. But I have to say, this diamond painting, this is from Make Market, from Michael's. It's probably not available anymore, but I'm hoping that more of this Make Market in Michael's will show up, because I have to say this was a pretty decent quality diamond painting for the price. I'm always one of those ones where, no, I'm not going to hold a cheap diamond painting to the same standard as a more expensive diamond painting. But I thought this one, it was a relatively cheap one. I think normal price is like $15 or $12 or something. I forgot. I thought it was a really nice quality for the price. And I think it actually is rendered pretty well for the price also. So I think I might just finish this little section here and end the video. But yeah, multi-placing. It might be, I realized I didn't finish this section here. It might be something that's a little daunting, but I think once you get a hang of it, you won't go back. I don't know. That was me. Once I started multi-placing, I couldn't go back. And for me, I did not really get a hang. I used to diamond paint on a drafting table, so I would diamond paint at an angle. I couldn't really get a hang of the multi-placing on an angle thing, because it was a little bit difficult to hold the tray. But I think what I just need to do is probably just not have the table too tilted, but we will see. But yeah, there is how much I had multi-placed in just that little section of time here. And like I said, find what is comfortable with you. To me, the 5-placer is my jam. And for other people, you might like the 10-placer. That's not me, though. All right, so that's all I have. I hope I was slightly helpful. I'm kind of... I sometimes don't know what to say when I try to do these more tips video, and I just kept diamond multi-placing while talking about it, because I think just seeing it done multiple times is also very helpful. All right, so that's all I have for today. So thank you very much for watching, and happy diamond painting. Bye.